everyone. It's Barbara Hayward here from the Old Girl Spiritual Stuff, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I knew you'd get here one day, and today's the day. And if you've been here before, please, like and subscribe. It's all free. And for those of the first time, like, subscribe, all about analytics in the background. You know how it works. And before I do start, I need to say this is for entertainment purposes only. These are my life experiences. These are the messages, the way, the philosophies that I've been given over the past 40 years of me working in this field consciously. Apparently, I worked in it for 30 years before I knew consciously that I was doing it here. Today, I'm going to read out of my book, and the book is not for sale yet because I simply don't know how to get it into a Kindle. It's Letters from Grandma, the Memoirs and Life of a Medium Clairvoyant. And I'm going to go to page 45. This experience is about why we shouldn't judge somebody else's life, their journey, because we don't know what they've come down to learn spiritually. We don't know why they're on the earth plane. We can hazard a guess, but that is not ours to guess. And when we hazard a guess or assume, as I know, it makes it makes an ass out of you and me. Now, this story is, and the stories that I do tell are ones that actually happened to me. And that's why they've made the biggest impact. So let's just go ahead. I will be reading it. It's not a long one. There was another time that I had to learn about different dimensions. At Foxton Beach, I had a place that I would love to walk. Now, Foxton Beach is in New Zealand, in the North Island, and it's on the West Coast. At Foxton Beach, I had a place I would love to walk along. It seemed to me to have a spot where different dimensions opened up for me. There was a time when I saw a huge tree trunk washed up on the shore. The West Coast can be very wild and woolly in New Zealand, as a lot of West Coast can, certainly down in the southern hemisphere. Certainly not to say the East Coast can't have it. We have a lot of debris from the forest fallout on our beaches here. There was a time when I saw a huge tree trunk washed up on the shore, and as I walked through this space, I saw the tree trunk as a two-dimensional trunk, and I felt it too. It's really, really weird. I was shown this because my spirit people wanted me to understand what that looks like so I could get a greater understanding of how a fourth dimensional spirit sees all of us who reside in the third dimensional reality. Not the same, but similar. I then understood the differences. I want to share with you an experience I had with my spirit people as I walked along this particular piece of beach, and the lesson I was to learn about humility. I had not long ago become a sought-after medium. Oh, it was so good. So good. I must say I was very proud of myself. Pride goeth before a fall. I was very proud of myself, and you will see, maybe a bit too proud. I was walking along the beach thinking about all things spiritual, and my inner chatter was reflecting on how amazing life was, finally working and completely with spirit, how precious and special it was being with spirit. My thoughts drifted off to your pa, my ex-husband. Now, this book, just before I get back to the story, I've been asked to write a book for many years by many people, and I couldn't do it because I had blockages about writing. And in there, I was having a shower hissy fit one day of God, my parents, my ex-husband, everyone. And my people, God, whoever, said to me, we will show you how to write a book and it will be easy for you. And the long and short of it is to write to the one person that I know how to write to. And that at the time was my only biological grandchild I had. So I'm actually writing this to her. So that's why the words. My thoughts drifted off to your pa, my ex-husband. You see, darling, pa was very materialistic and often spoke proudly to me that he was an atheist. My inner chatter went something like, what a shame that Gary couldn't understand spirit like I do, that he couldn't have a relationship with his spirit people. How awful it must be to be so materialistic. How empty his inner life must have been. Oh, on I went with this vein of arrogance for quite some time, and it was arrogance. Well, out of nowhere came a voice, and let me tell you, the voice was not happy with me. I got a real dressing down. How dare you be so condescending? Who are you to judge another's pathway? Who do you think you are to presume that you know every working of the universe? For all you know, Gary may be a master and has decided to come down this lifetime to feel the heaviness of the experience of materialism and disbelief. His experiences may have been very highly attuned. I must say, darling, Grandma came away from that walk along the beach very humbled indeed, and rightfully so. Who was I to presume anything about any other person's journey? Wow. I can just still hear them. And that was 30 years ago. I learned very powerfully that I was not to judge another's life. All I needed to decide was if it was appropriate for me to have a relationship with them, not on the basis of them being good or bad enough according to my judgments and opinions, but on whether our energies were compatible. It was several years later that after a large number of people had asked me about what being spiritual meant, I meditated on this question. The answer I received resonated with my inner self. My definition is this: to be spiritual is to accept all differences. So many have asked me about the clairvoyance, and it feels like I'm skipping here and not, but it all comes together. So many have asked me about the clairvoyance and the healing as if these were the most important aspects of being spiritual. I find both of these aspects are exciting to do and have done to me. However, they are not the only aspect that constitutes us being spiritual. Being spiritual is about how we live our life. It is about how we respond to the circumstances around us. It is about how we become more aware of the energy around us. It is about how we connect to each other, not on a judgment level, but on a caring level. It is about all that we do and all that we are and the degree to which we experience the spirit within us in everyday life. And then, as you can see, I've got a saying here. The spiritual life is not a life before, after, or beyond our everyday existence. No, the spiritual life can only be real when it is lived in the midst of the pains and joys of the here and now. And that was Henry Newen. I call clairvoyance and healing the tools of spirit. The more we move into living our life spiritually, being in service, caring and accepting, the tools or gifts of spirit will be yours or mine automatically. By raising your vibration to a higher level through relinquishing judgments and opinions, you will become more and more in touch with the messages and knowing that are available to all of us as our divine right. You will be able to use these abilities to whatever degree your destiny or your destiny pathway requires. I believe it is not everybody's calling, but everyone, regardless of what their religion, beliefs, or cultures are, has intuition. Other questions I often asked are these: how do I become even more spiritual? What do I have to do or add into my life? Again, back into meditation I went. These answers took a bit of time for all the pieces to come together for me. Sometimes the answers come very quickly. In fact, they can be instant, but more often require time for me to understand and assimilate one part of the information at a time. It is about releasing our opinions and society's given expectations and beliefs. These absolutely are the dense energies that stop us from obtaining the required higher vibration that Spirit asks us to seek and to live in. Being on a conscious spiritual path is about accepting that we are all of us, on our own divine path, that we are one with the divine and are one with the universal energy. Working with my definition of being spiritual, accepting everyone as being different, you attain your level firstly by accepting that all is in divine order, that where you are in your evolution is perfect. As you grow and change and understand more, your vibration will also rise to meet the level of universal understanding around you. So when I was walking along the beach, I didn't understand that I was in this highfalutin opinion of my own abilities. But that's what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to understand, they being my people, they wanted me to understand that we don't know the journey somebody else has come down to live. As they said, my ex-husband may have come down as being a master, and he wanted to experience the dense energies, the intensity of materialism, and being an atheist. Now, there's nothing wrong with either of those two, but when you don't combine it with some sort of spiritual belief, it becomes very, in my opinion, two-dimensional. Once I fully integrated that, and that took me, the initial of hearing the words, I was able to take on board the surface meaning of all that. And I will say that over the time from when that happened, so let's say the last 30 years, I've been able to go back into that time and that experience and understand him better as a person of why he did what he did when he did and how he did over the decades that I was not with him and the decades that I was. I met him at 15 and he left when I was 30. So half my life, by the time he left. And I'm still, it was about 6 years ago, I had another revelation of what that meant about him. So that's the first thing I want to express to you is please don't judge. We don't know what they've come down to do. We don't know what they've come down to experience, to have. Now, the second part of that, which is so important, is the discernment part. Now, he was a really, really, really good father. And I say was because he's passed over for quite a few years now. But he just really made a crud of a husband. And I will tell you, I made a crud of a wife. So, you know, kudos to both of us. And I really did make a crud of a wife. And so in the learning not to judge, I was then able to see other things that in my judgment was not there for me to see. I could only see through the eyes I was seeing through. Once I took them away, it worked. So then I came to the question of what does being spiritual mean? Now, that again came to me very quickly, but the depth of that came to me over quite a bit of time. And I must say, 40 years later, 30 years later, because a lot of my work really was in New Zealand. My personal life happened in Australia, all the yuckies, and my spiritual happened in New Zealand. There's a reason for that. So when I was asked what does spiritual mean, and it means to accept everybody with all their differences to who I am. We're short, we're tall, we're fat, we're skinny, we're white, we're dark, we're pink, we're some of us have yellow skin, some of us have blue eyes and brown eyes, and we've got grey eyes, and we're all different. Some of us are Christians, some of us are atheists, some of us are Buddhists, some of us are Tao, some of us are Muslims, some of us are Seventh-day Adventists, some of us are Islamic, some of us are Jews, some of us, we're all there. Some of us are straight, some of us are gay, some of us are binary, and some of us are everywhere. And not one of that I've explained is correct, but it's correct for you. So when I understand being spiritual, it means to accept everyone as they are. Now, again, there's a discernment on that. I can accept you who you are. If you come in my life and hurt me, I need to have the discernment of A, what is that life lesson I need to learn? Because we are talking spiritually here. Once I understand the life lesson, why did I manifest that? What is it teaching me about what I'm lacking or what I need to learn more of about me? Same with you, I'm using the word me, but replace it. And once I've got that, I can say to myself, is this toxic in my life? If it is, then I need to move it on. It may take a while, it may be instant, but make the changes. I'm not judging you for who you are. I'm being discerning whether I need that in my world. You can be exactly who you are. For other people, you're perfect. Just for me, you're not. So I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to understand you. And is it right? No. Is it right? Yes. So there I go. So judging his pathway came to judging him as a person. They're really the same thing. When I don't like something, I judge it good or bad. That's the humanness. But we are not here primarily as humans. We are spiritual beings having an experience as a human being. But we are primarily, for those on this journey, we are primarily spiritual beings. So we have to attain higher levels of awareness, higher levels of attainments. That's what we've got to do. And how we do that is and I want to do a video on this in more in depth. But how do I become more spiritual was the third part of this, part of the story. And how I become more spiritual is not what I have to put in. That's what I have to get rid of. It's what I have to release. It's what I have to let go of. So what that means is my opinions, my beliefs, my judgments are the three things that all come out of the opposite of love, which is fear, which is the opposite of love is fear. So they come out of fear. And when I know that I am one, I am the Father of one. All that the Father is, I am. All that the Father has, I have. I am God expressing itself. That's all it is. And if any of you have got really, really good hearing, my semi-silent phone is going at the moment from a call from my husband. So we will look at that in a minute. I just wanted to share the humanness of my day. So when I release my judgments of who you should be, of how it should be, and work on bettering my character, work on bettering myself, and learning to understand as spiritual beings, we are all one. And as spiritual beings, we all have different pathways, and we're meeting at different times in this pathway of ours, each other. And it's within that I can let go of my belief. If this is good or bad, I don't know. I don't know if this is good or bad. From the humanist, I can see it's bad. In the humanist, I can understand grief, sadness, and pain. But is it good or bad? I don't know. I don't know the journey that person walks. I don't know what they've come down contracted to do. I came down contracted to do some, or have some really horrible things done to me. But I contracted that on a spiritual level, on a physical level, not at all. Not at all. But when we let go, was this experience good? I don't know. What is it I'm to learn? What it is I'm to change? How can I grow out of this to make me a better person, to serve you better? So when we stop judging, being the victim, when we open up to possibilities, personal responsibility, then I can see it through different eyes, the eyes of oneness, the eyes of change. Now, I hope that has been part of an explanation. What I will be doing very soon is having longer videos so that I can go more in depth. But at the moment, this is an explanation that hopefully you can understand. Please comment, please give me your views. Is there a question you'd like to ask? Is there a subject you'd like me to talk about that is in my book that I can give you a story regarding? So until then, my fellow apprentice human beings, and that's all we are, is apprentice human beings. We're not getting it right. We're never going to get it right, but we're going to get it better than it was. So until then, much love from my heart to yours, and good night.